everybody go, holy dooly, holy freaking dooly. Woohoo!
Somewhere unseen.
Welcome back to chapter 100, and does it really matter if I've lost count? It doesn't even matter anymore. You don't care what I say. You know, oh, Luke, you got the episode number wrong. Look at your device that you're listening to it on. It's whatever the number there says. And welcome back, guys. It's good to be here. And I'll be real with you, okay? If you're watching, you may have already noticed. If you're listening, perhaps not. I look a bit grubby. I've realized that I record this podcast on a Sunday now because we do it every Monday. So I usually record it sometime on the weekend. And that's kind of my time of the week where I just let everything go. My standards, my dignity, my beard gets a little gingery by this time of the week. My lockdown vibe is, and I'm not that proud to say it, but I've been shaving once a week, and I've been shaving every Sunday afternoon, and currently it is Sunday during the middle of the day, which means I'm really recording this podcast at my grubbiest hour. I should have probably done it beforehand. I've even got tomato sauce stains on my jumper, but I just feel, look, that's pretty relatable at the moment, particularly if you're in Melbourne. I want to make those people feel comfortable. I'm assuming there's someone watching this with a stain on their jumper, and I'm doing this for that person, you know? I'm trying to like make everyone feel included, and I just kind of like the idea that you can watch this podcast or listen to it and feel good about yourself because you're like, well, I'm not having any stains on my jumper, so automatically I'm doing one better than Luke, and that's great. So it's great to be here. I'm not going to change anything about my appearance. I've got bed hair. I just burped. Okay, it's going to be a bit of a grubby episode, but that's kind of the vibe at the moment. It's like I showered yesterday, so that's a win. Haven't showered yet today though. Don't care. Kind of rolled out of bed pretty late on a Sunday morning. I did get woken up early. I keep getting woken up every day by the bloody postman or the couriers or whatever. Like they would knock on your door, and Meg was going the other day. She's like, "Oh, we should get our doorbell fixed." And I'm like, "No, absolutely not," because it's bad enough being woken up by do on the door every morning, but absolutely don't want to be woken up by ding dong, wing dong, ding dong. That would be horrible. I mean, I'm sure we could get one better than that, but who cares? So, anyway, I'm just gonna. But yeah, today, I got excited. I was like rocking some mad Mr. Dursley vibes, some Vernon Dursley vibes this morning, because every single day this week a post had come. We're doing a lot of online shopping. Meg's had some stuff, delivered and broken, then returned. So, and I've got some merch that's come, and we've just every morning there's been something, right? We got some new thing for a sponsorship for Luke and Lewis. I kept on getting all these packages all week, and every single morning I got woken up between about 8 and 9 a.m. by do. And it gets to last night, and I'm going to bed, and I'm just thinking, oh, I'm going to get a sleep in tomorrow. I'm like, there's no post on Sundays. No post on Sundays. I literally was like the Dursley guy in Harry Potter. I was so excited. And then I just get woken up this morning by do. And I was like, are you kidding me? Because couriers work all the time. That's why they're infinitely more superior than Australia Post. Australia Post take the weekends off. I think they do Saturday delivery maybe. But I didn't say my intro. Damn it, guys. Welcome to chapter whatever of Ivory Investigations of an Individual. I completely forgot, and I apologize to Bailey who sent that one in, guys. Sorry, we'll take it from the top. How are we all going? Blah, blah, blah. I'm a grub. All right, now back to being a Dursley. I was so freaking excited about no post on Sundays. I was muttering it to myself last night. I was walking around the house going, no post on Sundays, no post on Sundays. And then I wake up this morning, and I was like, for fuck's sake. I didn't do that because I was asleep. I went, and I probably looked even grubbier than I do now. Imagine how grubby I would have looked when I woke up. This is me awake and doing the day. I think I must have worn this jumper last night. We had a barbecue and we eat on the couch because we literally never eat at the table. I don't know about you, but I don't even remember the last time I ate at a table. It would have just been like at a family dinner event. Megan and I just like watching the Avengers, just eating. I was spilling shit all over me. And that's just the vibe at the moment. There's no reason not to do that. Like there's nothing else to do. So at least, it's a little sad maybe, but hey, that's what we're doing. My legs are sore. I got sore quads. Hamstrings, actually. The quads are the front. I got really sore hamstrings and calves because yesterday, the weed war continued. If you don't know, about 8 to 10 weeks ago now, I embarked on I guess I declared war against the weeds in my backyard. I had a massive weed problem. This isn't to do with marijuana for all you bloody stoners out there listening. I don't think I get many. I don't think I target that demographic too much, but no. But people originally thought I declared war on marijuana, and everyone's like, there's a couple of people like, yeah, man, he's fighting the war on drugs. Good on him. And there was other people like, bro, fucking, they should legalize it. And I was like, hey, that's not what this is about. Take your opinions elsewhere. This podcast is opinionless, okay? Except for Milo, Wheat Bix, and other Australian food debates. That's the only controversial thing we will cover, and I'm also going to diss Cursor one day, okay? I'm going to fuck with Cursor, and that was pretty controversial. But other than that, pretty much opinionless, okay? So, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So, the weeds have grown back. Now, if you don't remember, just a refresher for all the people who haven't tuned in for a while, I killed off half the weeds in my backyard. I would say it feels like it's at that point of the war where the Russians were going around Europe and liberating a lot of the concentration camps and stuff like that. Just that final part of the war where they're just tying up some loose ends and conquering just completely. That's where I feel like I'm at. I've absolutely have the upper hand in the fighting, but it doesn't mean that there weren't any casualties, aka my hamstrings and my calves. Put up very sore from about 2.5 hours of deep squatting yesterday in the garden. I went out there. I felt like I was a boy when I went out there, and I feel like I came back inside a man yesterday because I think I underestimated a little because, again, it's not too bad, but I ended up filling up an entire bin. What I didn't factor in was I was only looking at the above surface level weeds. Little did I know that these weeds are fighting like the Viet Cong. They're tunneling, and they are they've gone underground. You start ripping up the mulch and the tan bark, and there's just fucking weeds, and they run along these little tunnels. It's like Chicken Run or The Great Escape, They're trying to get out of my backyard, but I didn't let them, okay? They're not escaping my backyard, and they distracted me by growing some new lemongrass, which I hadn't seen before. There's like lemongrass weeds growing, but I've got rid of them. Filled up an entire green bin, and it's not bin day for another week and a half, so I'm in all sorts if I want to do any other type of garden maintenance. Luckily, I usually get out there once every 6 months. So, I guess absolutely got off there. But, so it was successful. Filled up a green bin and rain poisoned once again down in the remaining weeds. One thing that has come up is there's some gravel in the side part of my backyard, and it started growing. There's moss and a little bit of weeds just growing through the gravel. And I think that the previous owner or the landlord has just dropped down gravel over grass because it wasn't even necessarily weeds. It just seemed like grass, and you can't mow gravel. So I'm at this situation now where I've coated it with poison, but if that doesn't work, I don't know what to do. I'm not buying more gravel. It's a rental. I kind of care about this property. That's insane to think I would care about something that I don't own. I would even barely care if I owned the property. So I was just like, look, I don't know what to do here. I've had one crack, and we're currently trying to get a dishwasher out of our landlord anyway. So the last thing I want to do is start a weed dispute before we get the dishwasher. So, I'm in all sorts at the moment, but I'm still fighting the good fight, and I can tell you that absolutely have the upper hand in the fighting. I put up a little sore, but I guess that's war. You know, you can't expect to come out unscathed. So yeah, just a little update for you all. I did listen to some tunes while I was out there, which was good. Be getting into that Juice World guy after he's dead. I always do that with people. They're like, I'm like, yeah, I hear that someone dies, and I'm like, oh, everyone seems to be pretty sad. Must have been good. And then I'll listen to their songs, and I'm like, yeah, I get why everyone's pretty sad. This guy was, this is some good tunes. And disappointing now because I've become a bit of a fan of his, and I guess that, you know, I can listen to his catalog, and that's about it. So, you know, it's kind of like just becoming a fan of Queen right now. You know, they're not really pumping out new stuff. You don't want to hear this shit with Adam Lambert. Adam Lambert's great, but you know what I mean? It'd be weird if you... Imagine if you just, like, today stumbled across Fat Bottom Girls and you're like... Oh, you gotta take me home tonight. Oh. And you were just like, this is everything I've ever wanted. Are they touring soon? Where can I find this band? And someone has to be like... Hey, and then there's a few people around you, and someone's like, "Are we going to tell him?" And someone's like, "Nah, just let it go. It might just be a phase, you know." But so yeah, that's what I feel like. It's pretty disappointing when you get into artists like that. But I guess that's me, man. I'm a sheep. I see a trend, and I'm like, "Ooh, got to jump on that." Okay, and that's it. So what do I want to talk about today? What did I write down in my notes? I got a few things to talk about. Don't worry. I got a jam-packed bloody episode for you all. What did I write? I wrote, Reese Maston dream, kids need to be bullied more. What? Why did I write? Oh, I remember now. Yeah, okay. This is why I write really half-baked notes in my phone, and I at the time, like, this will be during the week, I'll have a thought and I'll have like a whole rant planned or whatever. I'll like think of a really good angle on something, and then instead of actually writing down in detail what I mean, I just write down a few key words and then go, I'll remember that in 3 days time. And then it's 72 hours later, I read, kids need to be bullied more, and I'm like, geez, I agree, but why did I think of that? And now I remember. Yeah, okay, I feel like I need to backtrack a little bit. Kids absolutely need to be bullied more. And here's why, okay? Obviously, bullying is bad to a point, right? You know, race, gender, stuff like that. Not on, okay? But I go on TikTok, right? Fair bit. I mean, I try and go on only like once a day. Usually when I upload, I usually try and post like once every couple of days or once a day. So I go on there to post, and when you go on the feed, you automatically get sucked in, and I watch a few. And yeah, the youth of today, I sound like such an old man right now, they're bloody kids, absolutely need to be put back in their place. And it can't be from people like me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you guys how we can fix this. But it shouldn't be my responsibility, and it shouldn't come from me to actually do the duty. Because otherwise, that's just like, I can't really bully a kid. But what I can do is encourage kids to bully other kids. So if you're under 18 right now, this part's for you, okay? This is what I've seen on TikTok this week. Now, you see the kids dancing, right? And, like, you know, I saw this one of like the kid had obviously set up his phone. It was like a guy, right? And it was with a girl. This is what I see a lot. A lot of like nerdy guys, right? Film TikToks with like the popular girls at their school. And you can tell that the popular girls are only doing it to get followers off the nerdy guy. It's really fucking weird, right? And then they're like doing this little dance together. And I see this guy in the background, right? And I just can't stop watching this guy in the background. This background guy points at them doing the TikTok and then doesn't laugh out loud to his friends, give them the finger, or go up and give any of them a wedgie. It's astonishing footage to watch. He just points at them and kind of nods and goes like, oh, that's cool, they're doing a TikTok. And then just goes about his day. What happened to some good old-fashioned bullying? Dude, when I was in school, if I set up my phone against a tree, walked 4 paces back, then started going, I would have had to switch schools. And fair enough. When did filming videos become cool? Because when I started YouTube, it was not cool. It was lame. Like, I remember my friends thought it was lame. There's nothing lamer than being the guy, like, just out of high school that thinks he's going to do YouTube and has, like, 100 subscribers. I was that guy for, like, 6 months, okay, before, like, I actually had a video go kind of well. And then I got up to, like, 400 subscribers. And that's still not a career. You know what I mean? It wasn't a career for so long for me, probably, like, 2 years. And everyone was just like, why is he doing these videos? Like, if you go back and watch the videos on my channel, there's ones of, like, me in aerobics gear. And it's fucking hilarious, right? It's great shit. Not ashamed of it at all. That's why it's still there. It's some of my best work. But I was uploading that to, like, 100 people. There was, like, 2 people that subscribed to me that I didn't know personally. And I remember it was just lame. Like, it was not cool thing to do. And I had to go through that thing of, like, it being lame. Yet now it's so normalized that TikToks are cool. Like, you see this kid in the background and he's not even laughing at these fucking losers. Like, this video had 26 likes. You know, you get something on your For You page and it just has, like, no likes, but it has to show it to someone. I got shown this thing with, like, 26 likes and they're always my favorite. I hate the videos that have millions of likes. They're boring. I love watching the ones that have, like, 3 likes and it's just some bloke in his bedroom, like, trying to do his fucking best, but he's just absolutely so off. Like, he's just so not, there's no self-awareness. But there's this little dream. You can see the glimmer in his eyes of hope. He's like, this one's gonna blow up. You know, if I really hit this fucking woe, this one's gonna take me off. And God, it's funny. But yeah, I just think I can't do it. I can't be the guy in the background, right, laughing, because I'm 24. I can't be in a school, right? But if you do go to school, I mean, you might not at the moment with COVID, but if you're in a place where you're going to school and you see someone doing a TikTok, all you got to do is laugh at them, okay? Make some fun, make some jokes. You know, TikTok, more like tick, suck my cock. All right, it's not that creative, but it's a start. And I just feel like if we start bullying kids more and get it, you know, what happened to that? It makes the kids who really want to do it try harder, and it makes the kids who aren't in it for the long term quit. And that's exactly what you want, because then the quicker they quit dancing on fucking TikTok, I might seem mean. This might seem, oh, Luke, you're being a little bit harsh here. Just let them be happy if it makes them happy. Right. Well, the quicker they realize that is not going to get them very far in life, right? Unless they're like some kid who lives in LA. The quicker they realize that, the quicker they just like find whatever they're truly passionate about, and that's true happiness. Okay, so really what I'm doing is speeding up the happiness process by a little bit of pain that you can give them by bullying them about their stupid TikToks. Okay, and I don't know if I've made my point clear here, but I think that's the way to go. I could be wrong, right? Maybe me encouraging other kids to bully other kids, but only for like shit like that. Only for the tongue out shit. You know, if they're like doing something creative on TikTok, like don't bully your mate who's like painting and he just wants to show his paintings to the world. But like if you watch someone that's does something definitely shit, you know those ones where it's like, what are you doing? Okay, I just think what happened to bullying, man, it was a great thing. I mean, it made me rethink it. That's what bullying did for me. It made me realize I did really want to do this, because despite me getting made fun of for making videos at the start, I just still loved it. So I just kept on doing it. And that was the best thing for me. Because if I hadn't have got bullied, I probably wouldn't have even looked inwards and been like, do I really want this? And it turns out I did. So it made me realize what I truly wanted. I was like, I'm happy to put up with this bullying because I think one day this can pay off. So if you're bullying someone, hey, you're probably doing them a favor in the end, for 2 reasons. They might realize they really want to woe their way to the top, all right, if the app doesn't get banned. There's been a lot of talk again this week of Trump banning TikTok, but I read a couple of articles and it seems like it's not going to be banned. I think from what I gathered, they're going to be just buying it out. Like I think Microsoft's interested, but they haven't made an offer yet. I think someone's just going to buy TikTok out because it's just such a moneymaker that's got so many users. It is such a weird thing to ban at this point because it's like, really be like when Vine stopped. I don't really remember it because I was quite young, I guess. Would have been like in year 11 or 12. I don't know. I didn't really get on it at the time. But I imagine it would have been like that when it just disappeared and then everyone was like, oh, okay, I guess we're back on Instagram now. It'll be really weird if it does get banned because a lot of people like it. And, it's so brutal. It's so brutal if it does get banned to all the people who their talent is exclusively sticking their tongue out and not communicating with their audience. That's what I really don't understand. And I know I shit on like people who dance on TikTok a lot because, again, someone should. All right, someone has to because it doesn't happen enough. But fuck, imagine if this is what I find so odd about it. It's the only social media platform ever, I guess musically, but that was literally for 9-year-olds. I guess so is TikTok, but it's the only social media platform where you can actually get big from showing zero personality. Back when I started, all you had to show was your personality. Like if you were boring or like you couldn't, like no one would like you, but people just like, look, I don't want to have a go at like these people because they're kids. But that Charlie, what's her name? Charlie D'Amelio, like the really big girl on TikTok. She's like the biggest creator, I think. Or a sister, Dixie. I'm not sure who's bigger, but they're not interesting, right? I don't think that's unfair to say that. I've seen her interviewed on Jimmy Fallon, and fair enough. She's 16. She shouldn't have to be interesting, but it's crazy to me that she can actually hold and captivate the attention of 40 or 60 million people, or however many followers she has. Like, that's crazy to me that there's that many people that are like, wow, that's good, Charlie, Good on her. That's awesome. But actually, think about how impressive that is. She literally doesn't really speak in her videos, and when she does, she doesn't really have anything that interesting. It's just interesting to say. She has a pretty monotone voice. She doesn't present well. And I'm trying to be as fair as possible. She literally just doesn't project well on camera, like the way she speaks. And that's fair enough because she doesn't have to, right? But how? Like when you watch someone who has a massive audience, like Jimmy Fallon or Ellen or whatever, they really know how to like bring you in, and they're great at presenting, and like it's so weird. There's like no charisma with any of these TikTok kids. They all, like, especially the guys, man. The dudes on the app, the little e-boys, right? Man, there's so little to like. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Maybe that's just me, but there's so little substance there other than them being like, because I cannot understand. Like, even when the Janoskians were big and like One Direction and stuff, they were like cheeky and they seemed like fun guys, and like they seemed like guys that you could be friends with. There is nothing interesting about these new wave of creators. Even calling them creators sounds fucking off. But there's nothing interesting. Like I always see them on YouTube trending. So I'm like, man, I need to understand this as to why it's popular. That's just like how my brain works. Whenever I see something successful, particularly online, I like need to understand why it's working. And when I watch them, I'm like, I think I'm old because I truly don't understand it. Like I sit there and I'm like, fuck, okay, let's just like look at this not in a joking way, just in like for real, like how the fuck would anyone think this is entertaining? And I sit there and I try and push away all my biases of this is shit, fuck this, what am I doing with my life, right? And then I watch it and I'm like, ugh, and it just makes my brain go into mush because it's nothing. There's nothing interesting about it. And I'm sorry if you like that. You might completely disagree with me, but that's fine. You know what, guys? Because if everyone agreed with everything in the world would be boring, wouldn't it? So I guess that's what makes it good, They need people like me because then makes the people who do like it feel special. Like, but I like it. That's why Star Wars is cool, Because there's a bunch of people who hate it. And then there's a bunch of people like me who's like, I dig it hard. Okay, I don't care if you hate it. And that makes me feel like better about liking it because I'm like, well, I'm unique. So, there's got to be people like me, man, putting the pressure on these people to have a personality Because if I don't, then no one will. I like to imagine that there's a bunch of like LA TikTokers right now watching this going like, man, you know what? Luke's right. We should probably like gain a personality. How do we do that? Let's go on Logan Paul's podcast and ask Mike. One of them was on Logan Paul's podcast. That's what I saw this week. Anyway, guys. So that's it. That was my rant on kids need to be bullied. So if we could just start bullying them at a younger age and kind of knock it, either really knock it into them that they really want to do it or just knock it out of them quick, that'd be great. Because I'm seeing too many underage people floating in the middle of like toying with the idea of being an internet celebrity. Okay? That's one thing that's absolutely shifted. Like when I was a kid, the dream jobs were like playing footy, like with guys, I guess. Like some kind of professional athlete was always like, if you were into sport, that was like a dream profession for everyone, I think. Maybe I'm different, but I remember when I was really young, I thought being a chocolate taster would be awesome. I now realize that's not awesome. I also thought working at Legoland or Lego World would be the best, but again, I just really like Lego. And I think another dream that some people used to have, I don't know as much as anymore, is like working with animals or working in a zoo always seemed like a cool job. And remember, this was peak Steve Irwin fame when everyone aspired to do this. But now, I don't know about you, there was just no one I knew that wanted to be famous when they grew up. Like no one. None of my friends were like, oh man, I just want to be like an actor or I want to be like a entertainer. I didn't even want to do that shit. I wanted to play footy. I don't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a band actually. So I guess that's not. I didn't even care about like the success of the band. I just kind of I just really enjoyed music. I remember my actual dream when I was in high school. My dream when I left year 12, like what the last day of school, was to do a show interstate in a band. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I was like, imagine like driving in a van and like having people show up to an interstate show. That would be like my biggest dream. And I guess I've achieved that dream, but just with comedy. And now I realize that's what I really want to do. Because I just didn't know a lot about comedy when I was like 18. I realized I went to see my first show when I was like 19, I think. Oh yeah, after year 12 in like April. So anyway, isn't it weird though that a lot of kids now, it seems like, aspire to be famous? Like there's this idea that like internet fame, because like the rise of social media, YouTube, blah, 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 it's created this like perception where it's like, oh, I can just be famous now. Like look at all these other people my age being famous. It's crazy because for every like 1% of people that you actually see that are doing well, there's 99% of people trying and failing. And I still feel like I'm in like the 99%, you know, like really compared to people who, you know, cashing checks. I would say technically actually I'm probably in the top 5% because it is my job and that's pretty rare. But that you can actually make money off doing this. But I don't know, is that weird to me? Maybe it's not weird. I just think it's crazy that a bunch of young people aspire to be a celebrity. Like, and they don't even like really want to do anything. I think they just want like aspire to have Instagram followers and think like that'll carry them for life. It doesn't mean shit, man, at all. As someone who has, I don't have that many Instagram followers, but as someone who has an audience, it's great. But the only reason why it's good for me is because it allows me to perform comedy to a bunch of people because I do something else. You can't just have Instagram followers. That's so weird to me when there's people that are like, what do they do? Like, they're just like big on Instagram. I'm like, but what do they do? Or they just like go hiking and post photos. And it's like, oh, so they're a hiker. Like, no. Like, they're just like big on Instagram. And that blows my mind. And that's one thing I'll never understand. But maybe that's just me, guys. And I should stop talking about this. It's been too long. Guys, one thing we do need to discuss is big announcement in Bachelor world this week. 2 bachelorettes they've announced on the upcoming series. Now that is, what's going on there? Yeah, so they just did it on the New Zealand season, and they're 2 sisters, right? It's, what's her name? Oh, damn it, I've forgotten. The blonde girl, she was lovely on The Bachelor. Oh, Ellie and Becky Miles. So Ellie was on The Bachelor, and she was lovely. I think she was on the honey badger season, maybe from memory. Anyway, she was lovely, and everyone wanted her to be the Bachelorette, which is cool. But she's on it with her sister. There's two of them being Bachelorettes. Now, what I want to know is, are they dating the same pool of guys? Because, like, usually the way the Bachelorette works or the Bachelor is like one Bachelor or Bachelorette and then, like, 20 people trying to get their attention, and they date the one pool of guys, and at the end they pick one, and, 50% of it works out, right? And, but this one, there's two of them. So are they, like, is one going to, like, because obviously let's be honest, in those shows, there's always, like, 4 actual candidates. There's the ones they get on for TV. There's, like, the ones that potentially could work, but probably not. And there's the weirdos and the villains and blah, blah, blah. So once you knock out all the shit ones that are just there for entertainment, there's really, like, a pool of 5 to 6 actually good dudes that they'll be there and actually might get along with. Therefore, they'll be, like, do you reckon they'll be, like, they're sisters? They probably have similar taste. I don't know. They might fall in love with the same guy. This could be a fucking disaster. It seems like a great idea. I mean, it's a great idea for entertainment-wise. It seems like a great idea for them on paper, because they'll be like, oh, we get to experience this together as sisters, We can go on this journey and find love together on TV, and everyone can watch it. It's probably going to end in tears. It's probably going to end with one of them falling in love with another guy, and then the other one going, God damn, my other sister's hotter. Who's the hotter sister? I think Ellie looks younger. I worry for Becky, man. Okay? I worry that one of them's going to get hurt. There's going to be a situation where there's going to be some awkwardness because one's going to get some sloppy seconds on a date, and it's going to be weird. But goddamn, I'm excited to see how it's going to play out, because I like that they're mixing up the game now, because we've seen the same format for years and years, but it's good to see them just mix it up. It's great for the sport, and I'm excited to see it. If I'm honest, a lot of people messaging me about it during the week, and I have nothing bad to say about it. I still think they should do the Cougar edition, like a 50-plus event where they get some divorcees and people who have been single forever for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, there's some people, I've never found love. That'd be great to watch. And you watch, and then 2 episodes in, you figure out why that is, and you're like, oh, dang, wow, and you never will. I would love to see that. Would also love to see a bi round, which is where they get like a bisexual bachelor or bachelorette, and like 10 guys, 10 girls, and they're all, no, I guess they don't all have to be bi, but like, yeah, obviously say if it's like a girl and she's bi, they get 10 straight guys that will be into the girl, and also 10 lesbian or bi girls that are into the girl, and they just play it out like that. That's a season I would love to see. Very progressive. Channel 10. If you need ideas, hit me up. I've got a bunch of them, okay? I've literally got like so many different ways you could play The Bachelor. 2 bachelors would be great to see next. Would love to see maybe Tim from Bachelor in Paradise, and also the Honey Badger back in for his redemption story. And I feel like those two will get on like House on Fire anyway. So just do it, Bachelor. So yeah, and I would also love to see. Obviously, we love Osh, and but I guess Osh isn't going to be around forever. But I feel like the franchise will continue. Would love to see, once Osh has hung up the boots, maybe in a decade, Scott Tweedy take over from Prank Patrol. Would love to see Scott Tweedy as a host on there one day. So yeah, those are just my kind of Bachelor. That's my batch wish list. Wish list. Jeff, I can't speak. Wish list. Wish list. Obviously, I'll find out if I've been a good boy this year and see if any of those dreams come true. But hopefully one day it will. So yeah, 2 bachelorettes. What a time to be alive. Okay. It's exciting if you're into the sport. And I guess I'll have to speak to some people from New Zealand to see how it panned out on their show. And that way we can get a better idea. We can use that as a case study for how it's going to pan out on The Bachelor Australia. Dude, they're really rushing through the Bachelor content on Channel 10. I can't keep up on my channel. I think they're up to like episode 9 or some shit. And I've put out 4 episodes on YouTube. I can't keep up. Okay? I don't know what they want me to do. I mean, I know it's not about me reviewing it, but that's not fair, okay? 2 episodes a week, I could totally keep up with that. I've been pumping out 2 or even one week I did 3 on YouTube. But yeah, Bachelor in Paradise is ending on Wednesday. And it feels like it started 3 weeks ago because it did. Why are they trying to smash it out? They should be trying to milk these because they're going to run out of pre-recorded content that they did before COVID. And they're trying to fast track The Bachelor to be on air, but it's like, dude, you're not going to be able to keep filming unless they go to Perth and film it all. But I don't know. They're not going to, there might be a second wave. Who knows what's going to happen? I feel like Channel 10 need to be like milking this shit. And it's impossible to keep up. I think this week they aired 4 episodes. That's how cheap that television is to make. They aired from Sunday to Wednesday a new episode of Bachelor in Paradise every night. Who can keep up with that? Who's sitting there 4 nights in a row on television watching it with ads? That's insane, dude. It's like air 2 a week. That's enough. But thank you very much for everyone loving the new Bachelor series on my YouTube channel. It's gone very well. If you don't like The Bachelor, I still feel like you'll enjoy it anyway. You don't really have to enjoy The Bachelor to be into Meg and I ripping on it. Yeah, it's so much fun to do. They're a bitch to edit, but I've worked out a lot more efficient way this year. I've finally screen recording. I don't know why I was never not screen recording. We used to watch it, and then I used to screen record it afterwards, and it was so inefficient. That's why I could never pump out that many. But I'm getting out like 2 or 3 a week now, which is great. Yeah, so I want to do other videos though. I don't just want to become a Bachelor review channel because but it's just really hard to try and keep up with the freaking show that I just want to keep doing Bachelor, but I never get time to do any of this other shit. I want to do Omegle videos. I want to do more music reviews, man. My music reviews keep getting like blocked in some countries because of copyright laws. Everyone keeps going like, do more music reviews, and it's like, dude, they get blocked. Like the Justin Bieber one is demonetized and partially blocked. The Tekashi one got demonetized and partially blocked. Oh, sorry, the Tamagotchi one. So yeah. Anyway, guys, what else is happening? Oh, I needed to tell you guys about the Reese Maston dream, and then we'll probably just wrap it up. So I also had some questions actually as well. They'll do. Yeah, I don't know why I wrote this down. It's really not that good. I just think isolation's getting a little bit rough, and I'm really, I guess, scratching for content, you could say. Like I'm just anything remotely interesting that happens, I'm like, just write it down. You know, it might be good. The Reese Maston dream. I had a dream the other night, and I realized how wild this is. This is like, I realize now that this may be actually my biggest fantasy. Now, this sounds like I'm going to go to a different place. It's not sexual, okay? I love Reese, but not in that way. I respect him as an artist and a friend, right? But if you don't know Reese Maston, he's an Australian singer, popular from the X Factor back in the day, but now he's doing some more rock stuff. He's very talented, love his work, and he became a good friend of like our radio show and stuff like that. And he was always a really good sport over the years. Anyway, so occasionally, obviously, I dream about him. Okay, sue me, all right? I'm just a man, okay? I can't control my subconscious. And if my subconscious wants to dream about Reese, I say, fuck it. Let there be Reese. So, you know, don't judge me. I'm pretty comfortable with my dreams. And, yeah, this one was about Reese. In my dream, I think in a lot of dreams I've had lately, it's like COVID doesn't exist. Like, I don't know about you, but does anyone have those dreams where just like you're feeling, I don't know, it's just like you wake up and you're like, I can't go outside. We're in a fucking world pandemic. But in the dream, you're doing like old shit that you used to do. So the dream was at one of Reese's concerts, right? And I was side stage, and I woke up and I realized like, oh my God, this is probably my biggest fantasy. Reese was rocking out like he was doing "Shut Up and Kiss Me," and everyone was going fucking nuts, obviously, because he was killing it. And I was side of stage, and in between the songs, he would come over and high five me. And I was with like Meg and Lewis and stuff, and he was high fiving us. And he was like, you know, like giving us thumbs up and looking over during the songs and being like, "This one's for you guys," and you know. And I realized like when I woke up, I was like, that is my fantasy, right? Just being at a Reese concert and getting that much attention in between the songs from my hero. But then, right, then halfway during Shout It Out, the band did a little like interlude, right? Where he's like, all right, we're going to slow it down for a bit. But you know when the drummer keeps going, right? And like the music doesn't stop, but they're like in the middle of a song, but he's like, can I get a air? And he's like, can I get a what? Because that's how the song goes. And the crowd was like, what? And then Reese said the best shit ever. And I'll never forget this. It was like it was real. And I wish it was, right? Because again, this is a dream. It didn't happen. But God, I wish it would. And I'd be so proud of her if it did. I remember realizing that this may be my biggest dream for Meg. It was my biggest dream for me, but I knew I don't have the talent to carry it out. So Reese in the dream is like, everyone say, what-oh, and the crowd's like, what-oh, and he's like, all right, I'm going to bring up a very good friend of mine. You might know her off YouTube, blah, blah, blah. Welcome to the stage, Meg Archibald, everybody. And everyone goes fucking ballistic, right? Because obviously that would happen. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's Meg from Bachelor Reviews. You know, again, this is my wildest fantasy that's playing out here, right? And I'm on the side of the stage being the proudest boyfriend ever. I'm like, oh my God, Meg, you're on stage with Reese Maston. That's fucking sick. I remember this dream so vividly, it's shocking. I remember how excited I was. I realized I've never felt that excitement in real life in quite some time now. But it's great to get it when you're sleeping. So I remember being so proud of her, and she gets up there, and then for the second like chorus of Shout It Out, he's like, all right, 3, 2, 1, whoa, and he's like, and, you know, he gets back into the chorus, like, shout it out, shout it out, shout it out, and then Meg gets the microphone and goes, whoa, and hits it, because she's a really good singer, right? And she hits it so good, and I remember the crowd just goes fucking nuts, and I remember in that moment being like, I could not be prouder of it. Like, it was just like I felt like a parent that lives vicariously through their kids in a way. You know, I was like, she's living out my dream because I don't have the talent to do it. You know, I wouldn't know what to do. If Reese Maston called me on stage and was like, sing the whoa-ohs and shout it out, I'd be like, I can't do it. But, you know what? She did it anyway, and she nailed it, man. And then I woke up and it wasn't real, and I was pretty shattered, but what a dream. You know, you can only dream, as they say. God, it was good. So anyway, that was my Reese Maston dream. And I wrote that down in my notes thinking that would be good podcast content. Who knows if it was, but I'll let you guys be the judge of that. But it was content, you know, it was a story. Was it good? Well, it's up to interpretation, subjective. But anyway, guys, I got some questions and then we'll just bloody wrap it up, huh? We'll absolutely roop it up. This one comes in from Nick. And now you can send in more questions. I've got a few. Some of them have been odd. You know what I mean? I'm not going to read them. But luke.kidgell@gmail.com if you want to send in any correspondence. Put podcast in the title, right? Or go to my website. There's a contact form there. That comes through to my email anyway. So, there's a contact form there. You can just put podcast in the thing because I lose them otherwise. I get a lot of emails. I'm a busy guy. This is from Nick. He said, hey, Luke, got a few questions you could use for the next episode of Narratives of a Cream-Colored Earthling. Very good one, Nick. I should have used that. Damn it. Shouldn't have read that out. What is something you wish you did during high school? I wish... This is going to sound awful, but I kind of regret trying as hard as I did. And that's not good advice. I know there's a lot of people in high school who might listen to this show even, and don't do that because I'm a very unique case, and that really shouldn't apply to anyone. But yeah, I've never used a day of my education in the sense that I never needed a score or anything. I kind of just glad that I learnt some things. Like there's some things I'm really glad I paid attention to, and some things I wish I had have paid more attention to. When you learn about taxes and all this real life shit, so important. But when you learn about, like when I was sitting in history, and yes, it's great. I guess I have now an idea of how the French Revolution went down. You know, I understood Hamilton more when I watched it on Disney because I knew a lot about the American Revolution. And that was good. I guess I was like, oh yeah, I've learned about this before. I know that. So there's some things that are good, but it's like my day-to-day stuff. I didn't use much about the French Revolution in my life. or the Chinese one. Learn about that in year 11. There's just some stuff where I'm like, yeah, look, fine. And legal studies, I learned a lot from. You learn about that's a really good one to learn, I think, in any business, legal studies. But yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess I'm talking about school wise things I wish I did. I don't know. I was pretty. I was pretty happy with how my schooling went. Learned how to be funny. I learned how to make friends. I feel like I had fun. I enjoyed my schooling years. I hated the actual class shit. I hated it so much because I knew it wasn't for me, learning. But I loved everything else about school. The fact that you get to hang out with your mates every day goes extremely underappreciated when you're at school. It's just normal. You're like, yeah, I can see my friends every day. So what? Fuck them, you know? I don't know, man. Something I wished I did during school. I killed it in school, dude. It was great fun. We used to play hacky sack at lunchtime, pivot at each other's back, and the teacher used to be like, why you guys have bruises all over your legs and your back? And we were like, because we're not fucking pussies, bro. Move along. All right? We're not soft kooks. Oh, that sounded bad. Soft cocks. Sometimes I say words differently for no reason. And and occasionally cock comes out as a racial slur, and I apologize for that. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I don't know, man. I have no idea how to answer that question. I feel like maybe I shouldn't have read this out. I should have read these questions before bringing them on the podcast. I feel like I don't have a good answer for you. What is something you wish you did during high school? Dude, nothing. High school fucking sucks. Like, I feel like one thing, I don't know, this is not really related, but one advice I can give people in high school, don't be the fucking guy or girl that gets caught up in high school after high school. There's nothing more cringy and weird. And it's always like the theater kid, dude. There's always that one theater kid that doesn't move on. And they're just stuck at the school. And then they go back to the school and they're like helping out. They're like, I still keep in touch with the teachers. Don't be that guy, okay? It's great to have a good relationship with people, but don't be the guy that sticks around for too long because it actually gets in the way of your life if you cannot move on from high school. There's a lot of people who just get sucked into like, this school is my life, man. Because it was for 7 years. You just need to like move on. Okay? I maybe that's just me. I reckon there's nothing fucking weirder than that person who's hanging out at the school 4 years later going, I teach after school drama for free. And you're like, why? You know what I mean? Like get a real job teaching drama. There's heaps of opportunities out there if you try. You're like, it's good experience. Great. Do you and Lewis think you'll ever go back to radio? Was his other one. Maybe, man. Probably not. Let's be honest. Well, dude, why? I think during COVID, and obviously, like, I'm not going to speak bad of the people at the radio station. That's the only reason why we stayed for so long. The people at the radio station, I made some friends for life at that place. It was a great 2 years. Our producers, some of the funnest, most creative people I've ever worked with. And I'm super glad we did it. Because I'm definitely better now at presenting and comedy. I feel like I'm better at working through the creative process. Again, it's something you can't learn unless you just do it. Like doing a radio show 5 days a week, we're doing for like a year, was exhausting at the time. But now looking back on it, was one of the best things I ever did. Because now doing 3 podcasts a week seems fucking easy in a way. It's like, it's just content. Doing this one, I guess, is the hardest one to think of content for because it's just me, and I'm the type of guy, I love doing things with other people. I really love doing Luke and Lewis because I love laughing with people. I love doing the videos with Meg. I fucking love doing the Patreon podcast with Meg. I think that's my favorite podcast to do is our one on Patreon. The whole thing is just us fucking dying laughing at each other. It's hilarious, man. So yeah, if you want to go listen to that, it's on the Patreon. But this one's probably the hardest because it's I know we're up to episode like 160 something. It's probably the one where I feel most outside of my comfort zone doing this one because it's just like I feel comfortable doing it, but sometimes it's still weird to talk to yourself in a room for an hour. And sometimes I absolutely doubt myself. I'm like, is this good? Like it's just me talking about my life. And I still have that self-doubt like everyone does because I just want it to be good. I want people to like it, but I'm like, fuck, is me talking about if it's good? Who knows? Now I'm doubting this. Fuck. But yeah, I wouldn't rule out going back to radio, but I would say it's highly unlikely because of COVID has destroyed mainstream media. Absolutely pummeled it. It's shown it for what it is, which is if it doesn't have the flashy giveaways and we've got Thingo down in the street, if it doesn't have all these like, there's nothing raw about it. Like the fact that nothing about my content except for stand-up has changed throughout quarantine is so great for me because it's like I could do this during the middle of a zombie apocalypse, assuming I had my house boarded up correctly and still had an NBN connection, you know? Like, yet these radio shows and particularly TV, like now that they're in quarantine, they rely on studio audience laughing. They rely on all these things that make it seem way better than it is. And then, I don't know if you've seen Jimmy Fallon without a studio audience or Ellen. It's fucking terrible. It's really not good. And it relies on celebrities and all this shit. And it's been great for YouTubers and online creators because nothing's changed. Everyone's going, yeah, this is still my favorite shit. It's what I've always been used to watching because the standard was always lowered. And now we're on an even playing field with all the TV shows and radio shows that we're competing with. You know, Lewis and I are doing a podcast over Zoom. So are the people on Drive Radio. I think there's some people still doing it in studio because you're allowed to broadcast. But, man, it's really not too much as like change with our shit. Obviously now we're doing it over Zoom, but now it's the same. And I've been watching some Jimmy Fallon interviews with like really famous people like Jim Carrey and stuff, and it's just them talking on fucking iPads to each other, and people are watching it, and the people in the comments are like, what the fuck is this? And that's all the show was, but it just had a laugh track behind it, and it looked great, and it was shot on a million angles, and it had a studio band. I think when you strip all that from all these programs, you realize that, oh, this is just like a podcast. And I could actually listen to someone I like more. And now it gives people a lot more choice to choose what they want to listen to, which is why it's awesome. If you're listening to this, thank you so much because you're choosing. You're going out of your way to listen to this, which is, I think, much more valuable in a way. So that's another reason why I don't think I'll ever go back to radio is because people aren't really choosing to listen to you. They're just listening to you as background noise, and we never got any fans from doing it, really. Like, I don't think we got many at all. For like, we were broadcasting to probably like 100,000 people at a time, and out of those 100,000 people, maybe 50,000 of those people are talking, either at work or you might be on in cafes, so no one's really listening. So it's like, and then out of those 50,000 people that might be listening, 40,000 of them don't give a shit. Then out of the 10,000 people that give a shit, 1,000 of them might actually be listening and playing along with what you're talking about. It's just like this medium where there's no loyalty, and that's, or automatically you're down to less people than actually listen to this podcast. You know what I mean? If Lewis and I, we get 10,000 people tuning into almost every episode of Luke and Lewis over the audio and video upload. So it's like, that's more valuable to us because they're choosing to listen to it. So yeah, to answer your question, in short, probably not, but also wouldn't rule it out because the people who run that place are fucking awesome. And it's also very fun creatively. I don't know if we'd ever go back to radio in that format, but definitely like working with the company or doing a podcast or some kind of content absolutely is still on the cards and was being talked about before COVID. And then now it's like, you know, they don't have, you know, they've cancelled a bunch of their programs that they were about to launch. So, yeah, we actually were still in contact with the radio station. We kind of never left contact with them once we left. We just were always working on different ways we could work with them without being actually on air. So anyway, that's the answer to that question. And I should probably wrap it up because my camera's flashing red and it's about to die. Thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next Monday. Every single Monday, if you want to support the show, you can get it on Patreon. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And yeah, we'll be back next Monday. Send in your questions, your topics. Otherwise, I'm going to keep talking about dreaming about X Factor stars. You know, I might have a dream about fucking Jai Waitford next. So we don't want to hear that. So, yeah, actually, that guy seems like a really nice guy. One time I surfed next to him. Anyway, guys, that's it. Goodbye.
Somewhere on the sea. It got a little longer, so it seems. I burned out, so to speak.